Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're turning our analytical lens toward a publication of absolute, rigorous journalistic integrity, reporting on the most vital, pressing events of our time. Or, well, at least that's what the editor of the Fish Creek Forum would have you believe. In reality, we're looking at a complete masterclass in satirical world building, coming straight from the deeply absurd, entirely fictional town of Fish Creek, Polk County. Just take a listen to this profound plea for empathy and mindfulness written into the local paper. The author? Post Fency. Yes, you heard that right. That is a letter to the editor written by an actual inanimate wooden fence post. And honestly, it perfectly establishes the chaotic, completely surreal flavor of the source material we're exploring today. Section 1. Welcome to Fish Creek, a town built on the margins. Okay, let's dive into this. When we usually talk about world building, we're talking about the main plot, right? The heroic arcs, the massive events. But today, we aren't looking at the main headlines of the Fish Creek Forum. Instead, we're going to examine how the back pages of this publication secretly flesh out this deeply, deeply unhinged community. What we're really studying here is marginalia. It's the filler content, the advertisements, the public service announcements, the angry letters to the editor. This content acts as the vital connective tissue that makes a fictional universe feel incredibly lived in. Let's see how Fish Creek uses this marginalia to do the heavy lifting of comedic storytelling. Section 2. Commerce and absurd ads. The local economy. Because really, you gotta ask yourself, what do a town's bizarre businesses reveal about its citizens? The local economy of Fish Creek is driven by this wild, unique blend of passive aggression, gullibility, and pure nonsense. Let's look at the businesses driving this economy. You've got Snipeco Steam Buckets, proudly advertising 100% vegan steam. You have the Fish Creek Funeral Home, and of course, Miss Shopenshire's Baked Goods. We have to treat these with the utmost journalistic seriousness, folks, because the details hidden within these ads are absolutely brilliant. Take the ad copy for the local bakery, for instance. Our humility is our best quality. Try our humble pie, crow sold separately. This single advertisement perfectly encapsulates the aggressively passive-aggressive personality of Miss Shoppenshire. You really don't need a 3-page character bio when a 2-line ad tells you literally everything you need to know about who's baking the town's pastries. And then we have Snipe Company International advertising their new board stretchers. The sheer brilliance here is advertising completely impossible items right in the margins of the newspaper. It's a quick, subtle little joke that perfectly showcases the gullibility or, hey, perhaps the immense stubbornness of the local Fish Creek demographic. Now, the context here is absolutely crucial. The Fish Creek Funeral Home boldly states, "When the end is near, we're always here." What makes this so hilarious is its placement in the source material. This ad drops directly during a town-wide apocalyptic crisis involving mutated animals and literal monsters. It is a hilarious micro-narrative of peak disaster capitalism, just tucked right into the corner of the page. Section 3. PSAs. Safety second. Let's look at the town's public service announcements to see the unique brand of leadership showcased in Fish Creek. If you want to know what a town values, you look at what it warns its citizens about, right? Let's contrast a standard safety warning with a Fish Creek warning. A normal town tells you to, stay hydrated during the summer. Fish Creek's mayor passes along a message from the Regional Dental Association, which, by the way, was accidentally swapped with the Tooth Fairy's office, warning citizens, don't eat turpentine and sugar. Sugar rots your teeth, and turpentine probably isn't too good for you either. It visually confirms the community's wildly skewed priorities. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how the town governs its people. The fire station doesn't give you standard, boring safety guidelines. No, they say, playing with fireworks is stupid. Just ask our friend Tommy Two Fingers. Instead of education, the town employs blunt, darkly comedic peer pressure. It tells you exactly what kind of chaotic environment these people are living in. Or take this PSA from the Big Fish Lake Conservancy Association. Our annual meeting has been canceled due to lack of interest and the fact that the lake doesn't need conserving. This single sentence masterfully builds out the world. It reveals the town's profound, hilarious apathy toward the local ecology, and it does it without ever bogging down the main narrative. Section 4. Letters to the Editor. The Voices of Fish Creek. Let's see how this world building deepens when we give the floor to the citizens themselves. The letters to the editor section is where the true voices of Fish Creek really shine. Both human and, well, decidedly supernatural. Just look at this rapid-fire testimonial regarding the publication's journalistic integrity. Somebody's getting coal for Christmas. Signed, Saint Nick. The editor treats a genuine, literal threat from Santa Claus with the exact same mundane layout as a complaint about a local pothole. Right below that, we have this absolute gem from the Regional Tooth Fairy office accusing the paper of yellow journalism and poor oral hygiene. Incorporating mythical creatures into the mundane municipal infrastructure adds such a rich, fun layer of surreal humor to the setting. It totally grounds the absurd right in everyday bureaucracy. We also see these brilliant ideological clashes playing out entirely in the margins. You have the aggressively positive optimist society constantly submitting cheerful fluff like, "We believe in you," juxtaposed directly against the local clergyman, Preacher Persimmon, writing, "I am shocked and appalled." The entire culture war of Fish Creek is fought in 2-sentence blurbs at the back of the paper. Section 5. Tracking the Wooden Nickel Economy. Now, what's really interesting about this is how it introduces the explainer's absolute best running gag. It's this back-and-forth callback that totally rewards the reader for actually paying attention to the filler. We can playfully track the chronological escalation of this bizarre wooden nickel debate. In Issue 1, the editor casually warns readers not to take wooden nickels. By Issue 2, the National Lumber Association writes in to defend them. By Issue 3, Wooden Nickel Inc. claims the paper goes against the grain, and by Issue 4, the company is literally issuing public denials about planting invasive weeds. Here is the Lumber Association's defense from Issue 2. Wooden nickels are just as valuable as any other cryptocurrency. It's just this beautifully neutral, deadpan satirical comparison between modern digital currency and literal worthless pieces of wood. And it's presented completely straight in the letters section. And despite all that corporate pushback, the editor ends literally every single issue with the persistent closing remark, "Oh, and don't take any wooden nickels." It builds this incredibly bizarre, entirely one-sided antagonistic relationship between the publication and the local lumber industry, and it runs purely in the background of the story. Which leads to the feud escalating in the margins to the point of corporate PR denials regarding an invasive plant species. We emphatically state the conspiracy theory claiming we planted it is patently false. We love trees. You can literally feel the corporate panic radiating off the page, and the main characters of the town aren't even involved in this plotline. Section 6. World Building Through Marginalia. As we begin to wrap up here, let's tie all these thematic explorations together. What the Fish Creek Forum source material provides is a highly effective, cohesive lesson on storytelling and world building through the exact things we usually ignore. So the crucial point is this: filler doesn't have to just be filler. When it's utilized correctly, it expands character personalities without heavy exposition. It establishes a chaotic, breathing local economy. And most importantly, it rewards attentive readers with running gags that make them feel like true insiders in this fictional universe. Which leaves us with this final thought to ponder. If the margins of your story are empty, is the world really full? The next time you consume your favorite media, look a little closer at the background details, the fake ads, the tiny text. You might just find a wooden fence post complaining about life. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. And remember, don't take any wooden nickels.